Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Khalil Show. Now, today I have one of the stars of Vh1's hit reality show, You're Cut Off, or as I like to call it, Princess Rehab. Everyone, say hello to Jessica.
Hello, everyone.
So, Jessica, how was it like downsizing until this small little house?
For me, it was a challenge because when I pack for a 2-day weekend, I pack like I'm going to Europe for 3 weeks. So being able, having to sift through 5 giant suitcases and having to pick and choose what's important and what's not important is very, very hard for anybody. I don't think just me in that case.
When you found out that you were cut off, what was going through your mind?
The first thing that went through my mind is this is fake. This isn't real. And who's behind it? I was just I was in shock, though. I mean, obviously.
Did you grow from this experience?
I definitely grew from the experience. I was away from home. I was away from my family, my friends, my credit cards, everything. So, you have no choice but to grow from it.
What did it teach you? What did living there teach you?
Well, first and foremost, it taught me to not take, what I have for granted. Not take the people around me for granted. To be more appreciative. And, I've said plenty of times before, that show put things into perspective for me.
Now, living in the house obviously caused a lot of tension and a lot of drama from everyone, especially you and a specific other princess named Pam.
Mm-hmm.
Why did you and Pam have so much tension towards each other?
I think me and Pam had so much tension because I think maybe we're more like in a lot of ways than I was willing to admit while filming the show. And certain things she did I would never do, but she did defend herself. And when somebody comes back at you, it's like a challenge, so it's worth yelling back. You know what I mean? You don't want to fight with somebody who's just going to sit there and not say anything. So I think that's where a lot of it came from. But I actually like Pam. I don't have anything negative to say about her. She's actually a pretty cool person.
You were always yelling around the house. Why? Why are you always yelling at people?
You know what? I'm glad you asked me that question. You have to keep in mind that what you guys are watching is 8 long weeks. That's 2 months, and you're watching it compressed into like a 45-minute episode every week. So there's a lot that goes on that nobody gets to see. There's a lot of little remarks that are made. There are a lot of arguments that happen. There's a lot of things that happen that are not shown on the show. And what you guys get to see is when I'm at my breaking point. So it does in turn look like I'm fighting with everybody in the house and I'm yelling at everybody. It's not the case. A lot of the times I was defending myself or somebody else. I always had a valid reason. And not just in my head I had a valid reason. Legitimately, I had a valid reason to open my mouth and say what I had to say. Anybody in my situation would do the same thing. The difference was I was being followed by a camera 24/7.
Okay, so now I'm gonna go down the list of girls, and I want to ask you, what was your first impression of each of the girls? What was your first impression of Courtney?
My first impression of Courtney was she doesn't belong here. She doesn't belong here, no way, because when we were in that room, when Laura Barron first introduced herself to us and told us, what was going to happen, she immediately was like, I can do this. I can do this, and this won't be a challenge for me. And I was like, you know what? She's a lot different than me. She's too good to be here. She doesn't belong here.
Chrissy.
Chrissy, the first thing I thought about Chrissy was, this is a bad chick. She has some spicy personality, and she's a lot like me. she's like me in the way where she says what she's thinking no matter what. So I respected her from the get. I respect realness, and that's what she brought to the table. There was nothing fake about Christy, whether people like her or not. There was nothing fake about her, so I liked her.
Gia.
Gia, when I first met her, I didn't have too much of an impression. She really didn't speak much in that first, hour that we were, introduced. She was crying. She was upset. I just knew that she was a mother and a wife. And I thought immediately we wouldn't talk because I have nothing in common with her. She's older than me. She's married. She has a child. So I really, I didn't have too much of an opinion on her.
Erica.
I thought she was a moron. From the second I saw her, I knew that she had nothing in between her ears, and I knew that it was like, talking to a water balloon. So, I was pretty much on point with that.
Pamela.
Pam, the first thing I thought was she was very pretty, but I had no idea what she was wearing, and it didn't look nice to me. So I thought something was fishy, but I just, I gave her a chance, and she ended up being shady and weird anyway, but like I said, I like her.
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, first impression, I was like, you know what, she's a Jersey girl, she's like me, I'll probably like her, that was my first impression with her.
I'm missing somebody. I don't know her name, but I'm missing someone.
You're missing Amber.
Amber and the other girl. The foreigner.
Oh, Leanne.
Yes.
When I first saw Leanne, I thought she was a hell of a lot older than what she was. I didn't know who she was. I just saw this short, odd looking, Wednesday Addams, blonde hair come up to me, and, I didn't know what to expect, but I was like, you know what, let me just give her a fair chance. Amber, thought she was the sweetest, most genuine, country bumpkin I've ever met in my life. I loved her from the second I met her.
That's nice. What about Laura? What do you think about Laura?
The first second that I met her, I was like, oh, God, this woman is going to be completely over the top. She's going to be like a therapist to the extreme. She's going to be exaggerated. I'm not going to like this. I'm not going to like her. She's delivering me, some really crappy news, and I just was like, I'm not going to like her. I'm just not going to like one thing about her. That's what I first thought.
What about the group meetings? You always got into something at the group meetings.
You know why I always got into something at the group meetings? Because, again, they didn't show a lot as far as what set me off, what brought on the altercation in the first place, in earlier episodes. For example, with the camping trip. Oh, no, actually, I'll give you the example with the popcorn incident. I've had a lot of feedback on that, and people were like, Jessica, you get mad for no reason, you need to chill out, you're nasty, this, that, and the other. They were just having fun. I am one of the funnest people you'll ever met. If you ask anybody that knows me, I love to have a good time. I'll play a game of manhunt right now if somebody asks me. I'm like that. But what really got me hot over that popcorn fight was the fact that Amber was in that dining room an hour cleaning it from floor to ceiling, and took her time out to clean up after all of us. She came out to me and said, I'm very upset. I said, why? What happened? She goes, Leanne, Jackie, and Erica are in the dining room having a popcorn fight after I just cleaned it. And I was like, let me go in there and check. I was looking for a few minutes before I snapped out. And I snapped out when I was given an attitude for pointing out that Amber was in there cleaning it. They edited that and didn't show everyone.
So it basically made it seem like, oh, Jackie's going crazy. She's overreacting.
Yeah. So then when we were in that, that group session, and Leanne was like, oh, I'm so mad, I'm so this, so that, she was making me look like I was just, I had no reason to be mad. And that is what aggravated me, because she's like, I put the vacuum, or whatever you call it. I was like, you're playing stupid. You know damn well what a vacuum is. it looks like your hair was